Hello, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Renee, also known as Miss HD Mercury from the Sunshine Coast Pinup School. I'm a vintage stylist and a pinup photographer, and today I'm going to show you six, but I'm including like one of them as like a two-parter, 5 different ways to do basic braided vintage styles in your hair. Braids, plaits, pigtails, whatever you want to call them, they will involve these. So let's go. So I'll be going through a few different ways to do some beautiful vintage inspired looks using braids. I'm just going to call them braids. I grew up calling them plaits. I'm just going to call them braids today, okay? And these styles are really great on long hair. Of course, some of the styles that I'm going to be demonstrating will be length dependent. So you may not be able to do the styles with your length of hair, or it may not be as neat if you've got lots of layers. We all know plaits are not best friends with layers. Just experiment with what you can and can't do. You can experiment with where you start your braids as well. So you can start, if you've got longer hair, you can start your braids at a lower point. If you've got shorter hair, you can start your braids at a higher point and you'll get a little bit more length out of it. So just experiment with what length you have. And most of the time you may not think you can do a style, or your hair's not long enough for a style, and then you try it out and it's pretty all right. So you can also do this with clip-in extensions. You can clip extensions in and then braid your hair and then have the extensions as the end of your hair. You can also buy ready-made fake plaits, braids. Oh my God, braids. You can also find ready-made braids as well that you can use for some of the styles, and I'll let you know which ones that will come in handy. So these styles are also really good for like anywhere in your wash cycle. They're good for if you've got long, thick hair and you've washed your hair in the morning and you don't have time to dry it. You can put your hair in braids. Braids are so much easier and neater to do when your hair is damp anyways. And these styles are also really good when you need to wash your hair, or your hair's been damaged by the weather or anything throughout the week and you just need a nice clean style up off your neck. So these styles are for you. So for all of these styles you are going to need, a comb, a brush. I secure mine with clear elastics. You can use whatever hair tie that you have, but clear elastics or a color matching elastic to your hair color is going to make it a little bit more of a neater style. You're not going to have to be so worried about covering up your elastics. The hero of lots of these, believe it or not, is the Magic Grip pins. These I never really used to do Milkmaid braids until I got these, because I would die of the death of a headache of 1,000 bobby pins. But these, because they have the little hook and eye, you can actually like put them in your braid and they're going to hold like the whole weight of your braid in your hair instead of 1,000,000 bobby pins. So your Magic Grips, you only need 2 for most of these styles. Yeah, pretty sure all of them you only need 2. So Magic Grips, and then of course your regular bobby pins, and then you can accessorize all of these with, flowers or hats or scarves. 2 of them actually involve scarves in the styling. So I will be going through all of that. So with these styles, you can do, with most of them except for the last one, you can do whatever you want with the front section of your hair. You can do a basic pin-up roll, which I have an online course for, or you can just do a clean parting in the middle or on the side, however you want. Or if you have Betty Bangs like me, you can just let them style how you want. Mine need a little bit of a wash, so I'm just letting them be a little bit more piecey today. And you will need a hairspray, your favorite one. I am just using my favorite working hairspray because obviously I'm going to be demonstrating a few different styles, so I don't want that crunch in my hair. So let's go. Okay, so for the first style, we're going to need to do a middle part. Just part it however you want. You can be as pedantic as you want with your middle part as well. I'm just going with whatever that is. And then also I do find it easy if you have a lot of hair, just use a clip to clip from the back. Clip it from the back. there so you don't get that random strand of hair in the middle that's just doesn't belong to either plait. So for this one, we are going to, this will depend where you start your braid by on the length of your hair. You can do a little tester to see how long your hair is. If I do my plait here, or if I've got shorter hair, you know, if you start your plait here, will you have enough to wrap it around? I generally like to say your ends at their shortest could be about eye level. You could get away with a little bit like that with a little bit of accessories as well. So start your braid and experiment where it's going to work best for you. So I'm a little bit of a spastic when it comes to braiding. So I will speed up this little process so it doesn't hurt your brain too much. Okay, yeah, sorry, my brain does not work if I plait the other way. So you can plait all the way down if you want. I've got lots of little short layers, so I've run more of a risk of them falling out. If you saw what I did here, if you just have little layers pop out, you can just tuck them in. And then if you have thinner hair at this point, you can sit there and pull out the braids and make it a little bit more voluminous as well. So here I normally do a little bit of a play. If I have, you're going to be crossing your braids over, and this one on this side has more of the sticky out bits. So I'm going to actually put that one down first and then have that like crossing over the top. So what you can do is just, you want to do it fairly close to like your fringe. You don't want to have it too far back. It's beautiful doing it that way, but we're going to be using some accessories as well. So I'm just folding the hair up and trying to get it to lay as nice and neat as possible. And then I'm going to be using that grip tooth comb, and instead of picking up the whole braid, I'm going to actually stick it in between, and I'm going to push it this way. So I'm just sticking it in between the little braids, strands of hair, picking up some of that. Really hard to do just off this viewfinder. And sticking that in so that you can't see it. All right, so I'm just aiming that there, fairly rough. This one's going over the top anyways. With these little tails, I like to just find this section of hair and just tuck them in, and then that sort of helps to hide that a bit better if you haven't plaited, braided all the way down to the ends. So when you get to about here, I tuck that one underneath like so, and then use my grip tooth to secure. And then I'm just going to tuck that one under there, and then that's fairly secure for me, but you can use your bobby pins. I am going to use a bobby pin to just get that little dude to work back into submission. Oop. Trying to disguise them as best you can. And there you have it. You can use as many bobby pins as you want. Sometimes I like to put, sometimes these bits get a little bit loose. You want to make sure you're braiding your hair really nice and tight. And you can put a couple of bobby pins here just to keep that nice and secure and flat to your head. It may, first time you do this, you may have to take it out and start again. But it's as neat as I care for it to be. Just gonna pull out maybe that little thingo there too to match that side. There we go. Nice and cute off the neck. and up like so. So you can leave it just like that, or you can accessorize as well. So by using hair flowers, you can sort of hide any mistakes. So the way that I have twisted my hair and the length of my hair, it sort of sits a little bit further back here, and you can just pop a flower. Let's go this way. Whoop. Pop a flower into that space to fill that void. You can also pop flowers, you know, along the backs and the sides of the hair as well. Couple up there. You can fully decorate all of the braid as well with flowers, and that looks really beautiful. You can also use this for lots of 1940s tilt hats as well, where it's going to be sitting just off the back of your head, and it's going to really highlight that section. And it's also a good style if you do have a hat like this, where when you put it on the crown of your head, you do have a lot of real estate to play with your hair, and you can have a beautiful braid just like so. So for this one, we are going to need a beret. Now you can do this if you have long enough hair. You can do this with just one plait, but braid, but I like to still split my hair into two, and I have a little bit of something going on either side of my head. So for this side, depends which side you want it to be. This is like my side, so I'm going to have my braid coming up over here and my beret on this side. So this side is going to be my little low braid bun, I guess that's what you could call it. So I'm just going to actually do this one forwards. Okay, so I'm going to just fluff this braid out just that little bit, and then I'm going to fold it and secure it into a little side bun, and I'm going to use that grip tooth comb to do most of that work for me, if I put it in the right spot. Oh, no, I can't get it out. Okay, so I'm going to chuck that in. Let's go about here. So I'm going to chuck that in before I start twisting and tucking, and then that grip tooth is going to grab maybe just a little bit of that hair there, tuck that end in and secure. And let's go with just a couple of little bobby pins just to hold that heavy plait in place. Okay, so that's just something to do off to the side. Of course, you don't have to do that, but I have thick hair anyway, so if I do a full braid with all of my hair, I feel it's a bit too much chunky for me. So for this one, it is going to be laying up across. I like to start it just that little bit higher and a little bit more forward as well. Okay, so now I've got that. So can you see by, if you actually start it above your ear, when you fold it, most of the time, it's going to leave this bit, which is going to be exposed, just that little bit neater. So I'm just going to be folding it down, and you can, you know, spread that out as well if you want a bigger braid. And I'm just going to secure that with my grip tooth comb. Now this bit here, you can tuck it in. It's going to be hidden by the beret anyways. So you pop on your beret, and keeping in mind it's going to be framing this hair on it, that braid. So just like so, pulling it down. And then I like to just cover that end like so. And then if you also want to keep keep a beret in place throughout the day, most of them have a little lip that you can use to your advantage. So you can bobby pin that into place and then fold the beret over, and you can do the same with the back. Find the little lip, bobby pin into place. You can crisscross your bobby pins if you want as well, say if it's a windy day, and then fold that over to cover. Of course, you can add flowers as well if you want to this style, but I think it looks pretty cute just like this. And there you have it. Okay, so we're going to do a middle part with this one as well. And for this style, I like to pull my hair sideways when I'm plaiting it instead of straight down, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Okay, so this one is called a braided chignon. That's what I'm calling it. And you're going to basically just wrap your hair around into a nice little swirly whirly style with your braids. This is personal preference on how you want to bend the plaits and how you want to do it. This is just how I do it. If you've got longer or shorter hair, obviously shorter plaits, you're not going to have as much to try and bend around. Longer plaits, you're going to have more to bend around. So I'm going to turn around and show you. Bring some bobby pins with me. So I grab one side, I don't know why I always start with this one, and I fold it up and bend it around like so. Use my magic grip through one of those plaits. Like so. And then I sort of have to bend this in here. And use a bobby pin to secure that one there. And then with this one, I do the same thing, bend it like so, use my magic grip, to grab most of that weight, and then bend and tuck. Pinning those into place. So from here you can have a little bit of a play. You can see how it's sitting. I can't actually see, I should have brought a back mirror, but I can feel there's a little bit of a gap here. If you have a gap, that of course is where you can pop in a flower. I'm going to just bend those ends of those, bend the middle of those plaits to fill in the gap. So I'm just going to lift it up, grab a bobby pin like so, and then one up from the bottom. So you can add in as many bobby pins as you want. Every time I do this as well, it pretty much changes its shape. So just go with it on the day. And then this is also, of course, you know I love to do my matching doubles on either side of a chignon, and I've got to figure out which way I want it to go. Let's go this way. So one one coming in from that side, and then another one coming in on that side. So yeah, you can use whatever flowers or clips that you have and just decorate that. You can also use them to hide a multitude of sins as well. The middle section, if you've got shorter hair and you're not bending it as much, you may have more of your ends sticking out. So that is where you can, you know, pop your two or your big. If I can get it out of my hair. There we are. So you can add your big flower across there. This is also another style which is really good for your 1940s tilt hats, and you can angle it just that little bit more forwards, and then you've got all of your drama in the front and party in the back. So we're actually going to be using scarves as the third strand in the braid. Now I said there was 5 different styles. I'm kind of combining these next 2 into one because they're using a scarf to braid. I've got 2 different lengths of scarves. I've got just my regular square, these are both nylon scarves from the Sunshine Coast Pinup School. I've got my regular square scarf, and then I have my extra long rectangle scarf. Either of these styles will work differently depending on the length of your hair as well. So it's something you're going to have to experiment with what scarf you have on hand and also the length of your hair. So for the first one, we are going to be using the, I'd say like regular size scarf. I'm just going to be turning my square scarf into a strip, like so, and then you're going to be grabbing your middle part and finding the center of your scarf where you folded it. It's most likely where that triangle is, and you're going to place that in the center nape of your neck and use a clip or two to secure, and I'm going to crisscross my clips as I always do, just to make sure that is nice and secure. And then you are going to just split your hair in 2. So you have 2 sections instead of your 3, as evenly as possible. And then this will be your 3rd section. So it takes a little bit to get used to. Okay, so you will want the scarf to be longer than your actual hair, and then you just take out your clips. So you take out your clips, and then you're going to be doing your Milkmaid braids, but you're going to be using the scarf too tight. Now this is a really good hairstyle if your hair isn't long enough to fold over just yet. You can use the scarf to your advantage. My hair's a little bit long for this style, but I'm going to actually tie using my ends of my hair as one unit. So you can pull it as tight as you want. It's not going to pop out of your hair because it's literally woven into your hair. And I'm going to do just a knot with all of those ends to make sure that's nice and secure. Just like so. And then with your ends, you can tuck them in and pin them into place. And then, you know, maybe if you've got enough real estate with that end, make a little bow. And it is a really cute style that needs I didn't use any bobby pins. I would probably use some to tuck my ends in, but if you have shorter hair and you really want to do one of these cute Milkmaid braids and your hair only folds up to about here, it's a great way to use a scarf to do a lot of the heavy work for you and give the illusion that your hair is going all the way up and around. Now, the next style is going to be using a longer scarf, and it's better for longer hair. So let's go. Okay, I forgot to hit record on this one, but this time I have a longer scarf. This is about 1 meter long. I've got bobby pins in the center and clips on the side because this one involves a little bit more manipulation, and I've just already braided one side off camera, but I'm gonna braid the other side. So you're just using the scarf again as the third section of hair, and I'm going to angle my braid backwards as well. Okay, so now I've got a little bit more length in this as well, and we're going to do almost like a reverse, well, it is a reverse Milkmaid braid. So you can keep these in here, and you're just going to grab the hair, crisscross around the back, and then there should be enough of that scarf, I can take these out, enough of that scarf to get a little tie going on. Just a little one. To secure it in place, and then with these ends you can tuck them in behind that scarf, and you can also spread that scarf out, tuck them in there, and then you can use as many bobby pins as you want as well. And then you've got all of your hair up, braided within a scarf. Right, so now I can finally pin my greasy bangs out of the way, and I'm just going to do a twist off, which is one of my 11 ways to style away Betty Bangs styles. I will link that below, just with a tuck, grip tooth comb and a little bit of spray. And this depends on the length of your hair and how many layers you have as well. You can use all of your hair in this top section, but I prefer to use just this section on the top of my crown. I already have fairly thick hair, so I don't need any of the extra weight associated with that. So just going to use a hair tie to tie that into place before we plait it. Braid it before we braid it. How you doing? And then, so from here, you're going to be using that to create your faux bang look. So here, just go pull your braid forwards. Right, so you've got that there, and then I'm going to just secure the back of my hair into a French twist with a 4-inch grip tooth comb and a couple of magic grips. Doesn't need to be super neat. You can include all of your hair because this is all going to be, let's just pin this over here. This is all going to be covered by your scarf anyways. So now you've got all of your hair up off your neck. You use your braid. You can space this out a little bit. It looks quite pretty. If you also know how to do fishtail braids, go nuts. And you're just going to use that braid to make a little faux fringe and use some bobby pins just on that side to pin it into place. Then you use your scarf. This is a scarf from Jacqueline Creative, and you're going to get it into your triangle shape. A little tip as well is place it against your head and see the size of it. If you pull it back and it's sitting on the nape of your head, but you don't have enough space to pull that forward as much, what you can do is you can just scooch that triangle up just a little bit like so, and you'll have a bit more space. So placing that onto the nape of the neck. At about this point, I like to add my crisscross bobby pins at the nape, just to make sure that is not going anywhere. So that's nice and secure, and then you're going to hold your tails, pull the back in and secure one tie down, and just behind that braid, I'm going to tuck my fringe in, and I flip that back over, give it another knot. Whoop. And then with these little bad boys, just find the pocket and tuck them in. Style your scarf however you like, because the feature is that braid. Couple of bobby pins right at your temples will stop that scarf from popping off your head, and you can pull and voluminate that braid as much as you want, and that is a really cute style, especially if you need to wash your hair or if you've got roots you're dealing with. And that is our final braided vintage hairstyle.